Hello, and welcome to the first ever Content Complete podcast featuring myself, Neanderthal Gaming, and my esteemed co-host, Superfist Cake, and All the Experience.
Hi there. Good to see you guys.
Oh my god, I was so nervous about that intro. I was like, don't fuck it up.
Oh, hi. Oh, no.
No, I want to.
Just say hello. Shit.
Yeah, let me redo it.
Just say hi.
Just say hi. I don't know how.
How do you say hi? Alrighty. So, you guys want to start talking about what you guys played this weekend? You want to go first, Superfist Cake?
Sure. In the little bit of free time I've had this week, I've been organizing stuff for my channel and whatnot. I have played Yakuza 4. Straight from 1 to 4. And thankfully, they have like a little recap section in it where it kind of halfway explains the story for 1, 2, and 3. But I'm still lost because I'm playing like, if you restart Yakuza 4, playing like a completely different character than the normal protagonist. So yeah, I've just been, getting into gang fights, loaning out money to people in need, just typical Yakuza stuff. I actually got a tattoo on my back the other day of a koi fish, so, trying to get into character. Yeah, that's my week, so.
I've actually never played any of those games. Are they alright?
Yeah. Oh, how do I describe it?
Doesn't bode well.
No, like they are good games in their sense. They're just kind of like, it's a weird combination of action-esque, RPG-esque stuff into it. I guess, like, from what people like to say is that in terms of content, it goes from top to bottom. It's Yakuza 4, then 1, then 2 and 3. Because the third one, you basically run an orphanage for the first half of the game. You don't do anything besides just talk to kids. And then you start going into like gang related stuff and whatnot. But yeah, I like Yakuza. Yakuza is one of my other favorite video game series I played. So,
you ever played Jade Empire?
Oh, have I played Jade Empire? I have, and I liked it until the endings, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I thought the ending was great.
Well, my problem with it was that like basically you had like either extremely good or you go extremely bad. There's like no in between. There's no like at least
yeah.
There's like no like, okay, yeah, I'm kind of a good guy.
There's no slightly closed fist.
Yeah, no, there's no like you just gentle slap or anything. It's straight up you're killing people, or you're killing that dragon, and you're like making a dead body fight for even longer than he has to, and then you have to soul capture all your friends in order for them to follow you still. Or you just do the exact opposite and you be a nice guy. There's no in between whatsoever.
Yeah. So is it anything kind of like that, or is it not as RPG, I guess?
The RPG factor is there's side quests and like sub stories and whatnot. Then you can like level up your character with certain moves or whatever. It's kind of like it has like a Pokemon kind of battle. Like it has like a battle aspect to it. People just randomly walk up to you. And they're like, hey, I don't like how you're looking at me. I'm like, okay, let me kick you 15 times in the face and see if you can still look after that. It's whatever, man. And then, yeah, that's how it is. It's just random battles along with sub-stories and leveling up your character and doing side stuff, which, and Yakuza 4, I'm not really comfortable with it, but basically you run like a hostess club and you get to dress up your like girls and stuff. You actually have a hostess club, basically they don't. It's like they just kind of go on dates with people at the club. It's actually a real thing in Japan. I didn't realize this until I like looked it up. I'm like, what is this like a real thing? Do people actually do this? I looked it up. I'm like, oh, wow, okay, I guess they do. But yeah, no, you had to dress up your like the hostesses that work there, and you actually had to do that for a story mission. I was like, one, I don't know how to accessorize anything, let alone myself. And two, I just didn't feel comfortable like dressing somebody. I'm like, I guess this will work. I don't know. Just wear a dress and talk to people. Jesus. But that's the only complaint about it so far I have. But other than that, I've enjoyed it.
Nice. What have you been up to, Christopher?
Yeah, let's see, this week. Well, for those of you who are here who don't know, I'm the host of the All the XP YouTube channel, so working on that a lot. Currently, got together with some collab partners who I believe are here to show us some love tonight, which is great. Thank you guys.
Awesome.
We've been doing some gaming. We've been, we tried out Nosgoth, free game Nosgoth. Pretty fun. That game was surprisingly fun with 4 people, and doing terrible and loving it, to be honest. Just so bad at Nosgoth.
Isn't that the free-to-play vampire versus thing, right?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
It's a vampire versus hunters kind of a game, and I had no idea what to expect going into it. And to be honest, it's really hard sometimes to find 3 other people who have similar schedules or that you can plan with to be able to do some of these 4-player games. But yeah, we've been doing that. On the side, I picked up Insurgency for like $5 and just started playing that too. Had never played it before. Really into Insurgency. It does some cool stuff that other games don't do. I'm very happy.
So it's more arcadey, yeah, like more kind of like CS:GO.
Yeah, it's kind of like CS:GO meets Battlefield in a way.
Oh shit.
By that I mean it looks really good. CS:GO does too, but CS:GO you can very much tell is Counter-Strike. If you used to play the old Counter-Strike, you can definitely tell it's just an updated Counter-Strike. With Insurgency, you don't get hit markers when you shoot people, so if someone's behind, but there's still bullet penetration, so if someone's behind something that's thin, like thin metal or wood, and you're having a gunfight, and you shoot through it, and you don't hear anything, you don't know, it doesn't tell you that you killed someone necessarily right away, so you have to go and confirm that kill yourself, which I think is both exhilarating, and it's just a really nice touch, I think, that they do with that game. I was really impressed with it, so one of my collab partners told me to try that out, so I did. And other than that, I've just been trying to upload my usual 2 videos a day and doing Apotheon, which is a beautiful Greek mythology side-scroller game that's brand new.
So I actually heard some pretty negative things about Apotheon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the combat was super clunky, not intuitive at all, and kind of boring. And they kind of, okay, this is all just from hearsay, I haven't played it, but that they kind of shoehorned in a lot of stuff. Like there's like a black market that kind of sells the weapons that you find on the ground, and kind of stuff like that, kind of like weird design choices. Is that at all true or no?
It's I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I am just like blown away by how beautiful the game is in general. So the combat, although it's such a big part of the game, is something that bothers me. Not like the least, maybe. Maybe I said that backwards. I guess that's the only thing that bothers me is the combat. I think it's fun. I don't think it's necessarily intuitive. It's not as fast-paced as you would think, but I guess for me, I think about how combat with, a huge spear would be while holding a shield while wearing all this metal-plated armor and stuff back in those days. So it feels a little kind of, not, I wouldn't say clunky is the word necessarily. Some weapons feel clunky, other weapons kind of feel light and a little airy. But it's pretty fun. You can do some strategic things. Like I usually try to use a super long spear and poke them in the feet, because if you do that, the enemy will actually crouch down, and then from there they're down for a second. You can stab them in the face, and you're good. I don't know. I guess that would be the only thing I would say could have been better was the combat, but for me, I love everything else about the game, including the story, even though it reminds me very much of God of War.
Oh, yeah, I heard that comparison also.
I mean, the only reason, here's the thing that I thought about that, and I said this in one of my videos, was, of course it sounds like God of War, but then again, if you're any sort of Greek mythology, history buff type person, almost every story is like the gods turn their back on the people of Greece and stuff. So
the gods hate everybody.
Yeah, and at least in God of War, it's almost like, I mean, they give you the feeling that the gods were against Kratos, almost, because like at least that's how he sees it. Because you took my wife and my child or whatever.
Yeah.
In this, it's like your city's being destroyed, and there are a couple people stepping up, but Hera chooses you to be the person to kind of shut down Zeus for doing bad things. So you end up learning. I don't want to spoil much, and I'm not even that far into the game, but like right away, Hera's like, my husband's kind of being a dick. You should do something about it. So. Yeah, I think the story's fine, but definitely anytime you have Greek mythology and Zeus killing people, you're going to be like, God of War.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially God of War 2 and 3. Those were like God of War 1, at least it was like a generic, like not generic, it was like a set goal, like you're going to kill the God of War. That's it. Now you're the God of assholes because you're just killing everybody because you're just so pissed off at everybody.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Kratos is a little angsty.
He's a brutal dude, is what he is.
Slightly.
I wouldn't say angsty to his face, but
Oh,
behind
no.
his back.
Say anything to his face. I wouldn't talk to him. I'd I'd walk to the other side of the city if I saw him on the street.
I don't even
Yeah.
visit Greece because it's too close to him. I don't
No way. No, it turns out, I don't know. I mean, maybe I haven't done all my research, but Zeus just really sounds like a dick all the time. Like, it's always Zeus because obviously he's like the god of gods up on Mount Olympus, but it's almost like there's nothing that you can do. Like, if you're playing a Greek mythology game and you're going to be it's going to be something about dealing with the gods. Zeus is behind it, and Zeus is just a dick. Like, most of the other gods are like, yeah, I'll follow Zeus because he'll kill me if I don't. But there are some that are like, man, I don't need you. Like, people think Zeus is great. He's not great at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
Zeus-
more of a Poseidon kind of guy.
Poseidon's dope.
All my usernames since I was like 11 have been Poseidon. Every
Oh,
single
that's
one.
right. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know all the way back from there, but that's, when you first messaged me, it was Poseidon.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's
yeah, I
pretty
remember
cool.
So I've been playing Pokemon Alpha Sapphire.
that.
I'm
Aw,
a
snap.
huge Pokemon guy. Like, not so much the newer games, since like the first couple DS games, but back in like Generation 1 and 2 and 3, I played a ton. And this one is super good. It's the remake of Generation 3, which is Ruby and Sapphire, I guess.
Mm.
And they do so many things that just speed up the whole process. Like, a lot of it used to be really laborious, like trying to level up your Pokemon and fight people and stuff like that. They pretty much taken all of that out. Like, well, they haven't taken that out, but they give you an experience share like super early on, and it levels up all of your Pokemon at the same time. So it's kind of like new Final
That's
Fantasy
pretty easy,
games. So now you don't have to worry about like, oh, I better use my freaking Beautifly because he's going to be underleveled.
Yeah.
So
You don't have to do all the strategery as much as you used to.
I feel like you're trying to make out with me with your eyes, Christopher.
Down the hollow. Hollow in the
no.
chat asked me if I could give him my best sexy eyes, so I was like, just that.
Oh, I thought he said just give me your sexy eyes. I thought he just wanted your eyes, not an expression in general. But
Well, I don't know. Hollow, can you confirm?
I'll confirm.
Did you
Do you
want my
the eyes
eyeballs?
or do you want the look? Those eyes, please. I think they just want the eyes.
Okay. Well, I kind of need them.
I mean, you can just get new ones.
That's
They're
just-
happy.
You give him one.
Yeah.
Just get one.
here. Both. He wants both.
Oh,
Oh.
shit.
Yeah, no, the eyes.
The arms. All
Okay.
right.
And then I've been playing the Binding of Isaac Rebirth.
Oh, okay.
Casually. I'm trying to get to the real Platinum God, which is like the ultimate like touch every item. I don't know if you guys have ever played Binding of Isaac, but it's like a
I-
roguelike
one,
twin
but I
stick
just have-
shooter
In a while. Yeah.
before the expansion comes out. So I've just been trying to fiddle with that. I don't really play that many games outside the ones that we do on the channel.
Hmm.
But this week has been kind of an exception.
It's because you have that strict uploading schedule, man. That's
Yeah.
why.
32 videos a day. Every day.
2 videos.
Every day. Yeah, if you guys want to see 30 plus videos every Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
Check out neanderthalgamingtv.com.
yeah, go look at them. No, I think I visit your guys' channel pretty often. It's great to see that much consistency. It's definitely going to give people some comfort going to your channel.
Yeah. Well, when I do things, I kind of I want to do them really hardcore. Like, I just want to go as far as I can into them. That way, I don't want to give up so soon. Like, if I do like things half-assed, I'm kind of like, well, I don't need to upload a video today, you know?
Yeah.
But if I set really high goals that I know I have to meet, it's much easier for me to stay motivated and to push the videos out, I guess.
Yeah.
Because we tried like once a week, or not once a week, like 2 videos a week or 3 videos a week and stuff like that, and it's easy to just like kind of just forget about them, I guess. Well, at least for me and Spencer, it was. But yeah, we try to do about 25 videos a week.
That was 25. Never mind. I was off by 5.
That's so crazy. So what's your guys? You know how some people do like we have 500 videos, kind of like a mile marker for your videos. You guys are way up there if you're doing 25 a week successfully. Do you guys care about that kind of stuff, or is it more of the subscriber thing?
I'll care about it once it starts to become something. Because before then, I think that it's not as important. Like, we're putting videos out there, people like them, they'll watch them, and until we get to like a really high amount, like a bunch of subscribers or something like that, then we'll start being like, we got 500 subscribers, or we put out our 20,000th video this week. So, modest goals. We try to keep them modest. 25,000 videos before the end of this month. That's doable.
Yeah.
Have you sold your millionth video yet?
Yeah. Please let me know. You guys, let me know. I'll throw a party for you guys when that happens. That's hilarious. Well, but
yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing this week.
Nice.
Oh, and Smash.
People had a variety of games.
Oh, Smash, the new Smash?
Oh, Smash.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I have a Wii U in my living room. I just haven't been playing it. We played the hell out of it for the first week or 2 that we picked it up, and then I just haven't gone back to it.
So, do you guys kind of play like casually, or are you like
Casually.
in it? Because I'm pretty in it.
Yeah, you're in it to win it?
Yeah.
I'm more of a casual gamer. I play a little bit of Mac and Ganon. And those are my main guys.
Ooh.
Yeah.
God, well, no wonder. Mac in this game is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm a Zelda main. I played Zelda.
Oh,
Zelda
that's
and Toon Link.
Ooh, Toon Link.
Recently, I've been trying to play Falcon. Because Spencer, he plays Shulk, and Shulk is such a bitch. Shulk is so is very annoying to play with. So I'm just gonna pick the ultimate character that counters yours. That's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, I watch all like the big Smash tournaments, and we play Project M on the channel. And we used to play Melee a lot, but Melee is so like the metagame is so developed that you have to play Fox, or you have to play Falcon or Falco, or some other people, and Jigglypuff, and there's barely any room to be like, oh, I'm gonna win a tournament with Zelda, or I'm gonna win a tournament with Link, because you'll just get wrecked.
Nope. Yeah.
You'll just get wrecked. So I kind of like Project M and Smash 4 because they're more balanced, so you can play more characters, I guess. But yeah, that's what we've been. Pretty much that's all we do.
That's cool. Yeah, I should definitely
every day.
I'm hoping to get a capture card here soon, and then I'll definitely do some stuff like that, because there's a lot of stuff to. People are really into this new Smash Brothers, and it ends up being really good. Melee, of course, was like the one for competitive gameplay, but in Melee is when I learned that Samus was my jam. And it does not matter who was fighting me, how good they were, whoever. It's just I found out how to use Samus, and not like it wasn't like I would only do a certain combo or something. It was just I knew how to utilize her, and her, especially the best thing I think I would use is her little down B move where she rolls up in a ball and drops the bomb, because at least in Melee for sure it gave you like a couple inches of boost in the air, and it would so it would keep you in the air for a second, and that was the best for edge guarding because I could jump out and do that a couple times and be safe, and completely throw people off as to how I survived and stuff. So Samus I swear, if she was real, I would just marry her.
No shit, Spencer actually mained Samus in Melee.
Yeah, super. I love her, and I love her in the new one too. Samus is great. When they introduced Zero Suit Samus, it's cool that they decided to do that, but she does not play the same, so I don't use her.
Yeah.
I just use good old vanilla Samus, and it's the best.
That's awesome. Well, shall we transition into some of the meatier topics?
Oh,
yeah, sure.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose we should.
We can talk about Smash for another hour or so.
Yeah, well, shoot. What have you guys
I love Smash. It makes me
who
so
doesn't?
salty, though. So salty.
Oh, yeah. I can see
There
that.
are plenty of games that make you salty. Well, okay, so if we're moving into the real meat and potatoes of the podcast here, we can talk about a couple things I wanted to bring up. I guess the first one would be I have some words and some thoughts about this Fortress Fallout fiasco with Bethesda basically sending a letter to Captain Sparkles, who, if anyone here doesn't really know, is a huge YouTuber, and he's making a game called Fortress Fallout with his company, and because it has the word Fallout in it, Bethesda's legal team decided that, hey, we're going to go ahead and ask you to cease and desist all production on it, or, change the name, because we have the copyright to the Fallout franchise, and we think that Fortress Fallout is infringing on that. And because he's just a YouTuber, a very successful one, but because he's a YouTuber and has a small company, he said he spoke to his lawyers, and when it came to kind of chatting about what they could do, their lawyers basically just said, well, we're not Bethesda. Bethesda has all sorts of money and lawyers. The best thing we could do is just do it. Just change the name. We have to change it. And so it's kind of like they're being strong-armed into it, and I just wanted to see what you guys felt about that, because we all know it's not the first time Bethesda's done something like this.
No, what was the other thing they did? I refreshed my memory.
Scrolls.
Scrolls, that's right.
Yeah. Minecraft, yep.
Yeah. So it's just another example of just companies, video game companies are they're alienated to their gamers. They just think everything's just all like a big money thing. Because it's not like Bethesda's not the first, and it's not going to be the last company to do this. It's just like a never-ending cycle of just people like, all right, well, it sounds kind of like my product. You better give me money or just stop making it at all. Because you're getting on my property, and I'm not standing for that at all. And it's like, why do you care so much if some company or some like if a YouTuber has a game that has the word Fallout in it? Fallout is a common word for nuclear radiation and things that involve that. So it's kind of I just find really hard that you can trademark the word Fallout, but I guess they did it somehow, and it just, I don't know, yeah.
Well, I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate here.
Okay.
So I watched that guy's video, Captain Sparkles, and honestly, I thought it was really preachy. I mean, not preachy, but kind of whiny, I guess. Basically, he's like, yeah, they strong-armed us into it.
Yeah.
And I'm not like a lawyer, but I kind of feel like, number one, I think that they could have fought it and probably have won, or had contacted some more internal people in Bethesda and had talked it out like they did with Scrolls that settled out of court. But also, companies who aggressively, I guess, try to protect their patents do so because they don't want someone, they don't want to lose them, right? So after a certain amount of time, if you don't like protect your patent, then you lose it. And I think that's kind of what they were doing. Not so much that it had the word Fallout in it, that it was more or less, we're gonna make an example of you, right? Like, if you want to make a game called Fallout New Hampshire, right, then we're gonna come after you. Just like we came after this little guy. Like, you're not, like, I kind of think that's kind of what they were doing. Like, number one, we're gonna protect our patent. Number two, we're gonna make sure you don't, other people know that they can't just walk in here and start using Fallout willy-nilly.
Right. I didn't think about it that way. I guess they're like, if they're not trying to pull favorites, like, because he is a famous YouTuber, they're not going to say, oh, well, since he's famous and whatnot, that's fine. Whereas if somebody else tried to do the exact same thing, they'd just lay the hammer down. I didn't think about it in that light, but
I agree that it's dumb that, like, no one's going to, Fortress Fallout or whatever, they're not going to get mixed up with Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas or even the older Fallouts. No one's going to mix that up. But I think it's more or less the fact that they're like, well, I think we need to protect our IP, is basically.
Right. And to play a different side of it, I guess it would still be devil's advocate, but it would be like another side of it. Instead of obviously Bethesda needs to be able to protect their IP and all of that, just like they did with Notch. Of course, Notch was like, he's rich because of Minecraft. He had all that stuff.
He could have fought them so easy.
Oh yeah, he could have done pretty well. But everyone settles their things. We're not them, so we don't know exactly what their views or opinions are and stuff. But I agree on the video seeming a little bit kind of like that. I've got nothing against Captain Sparkles or anything like that.
I haven't heard him since this incident.
Yeah, I really don't think anything. I don't think poorly of him or anything. But there was someone in the comments who said something that seems a little bit extremist to me, but it's totally not out of the realm of possibility. This guy said, I should probably bring it up to look for a quote, but essentially what he was saying was, it's not out of the realm of possibility for him to have, for people who are developing games like this to purposely name something similar to an IP that's already been made, so that you get bad press, because there's the saying, any press is good press.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Captain Sparkle is a pretty big guy. He's got 8 million subscribers on YouTube. A lot of people know about his game. So, to me, I don't think that's what was happening, but it's definitely something that's good to bring up, at least in conversation, talking about how, maybe, I don't think that fits with the Scrolls situation, and I don't think it fits with Fortress Fallout situation. But that guy makes a decent point. If someone's going to make something like that, then people start to hear like, oh, well, these people are getting strong-armed or bullied into changing their name, and then it kind of vilifies Bethesda, because people were pissed at Bethesda the first time when it happened with Scrolls. And so that's absolutely a possibility. Again, don't think that's the case. I just thought it'd be interesting to bring up. And on top of that, the one thing that really irks me is people don't understand the separation between the development teams and things like that.
Legal teams,
yeah, and legal teams. So when it comes out to something like this, people are like, "Oh, Bethesda, they're just a bunch of rude bullies," and it's like, and so then that automatically, it's like it subconsciously transfers or even consciously transfers over to the fact that like, oh, Bethesda, I don't want to play their games anymore because they're mean. It's like that's not the case at all. Todd Howard, the game director for the Fallout games, Fallout 3, Elder Scrolls 3 and up. All those games, he doesn't have anything to do with it. He just
he's not scrolling the app store like, get this fucker, get this guy. It has Vegas in it. I want this guy taken off the app store. It's a mole.
Check him down.
No, so definitely, I know there's plenty of sensible people out there, but there's also plenty of people that aren't. And the problem is, it's the people who know better are always the silent majority or whatever. We know better, but we're not like shouting out saying like, guys, leave them alone, like who cares? And obviously 8 million people following one of their favorite YouTubers are going to be sympathetic and be like, dude, we're so sorry, like why would Bethesda do this? This really leaves a bad taste in my mouth towards Bethesda. And it just seems a whole back and forth. You really have to see it from both both sides, I suppose. Bethesda is one of my favorite game developing companies out of all of them, and that's why I'm on both sides. It's like I feel bad for Captain Sparkles because yes, he is very successful at YouTube, but he's also trying to make a game. It's a passion project for him. He wants to share this idea, this experience with people, with the world, this 8 billion people, and then a big company like Bethesda comes in and does that. And to me, it's like it does irk me because they did the same thing with Scrolls, and I think it's silly. But I'm also not a lawyer. I don't know all of that stuff, so lawyers might know this is kind of threatening, even if it's not a huge title. It's threatening to our IP, and like you said, Matt,
it puts the idea out there that it's okay to start kind of inching towards their copyright, I think.
And then eventually, you know, if they said it was okay to one, they might have to say it's okay.
Yeah.
It's like when your friends
It's a
ask you for
slippery
gum in
slope.
middle school. Yeah, and slippery slope is a really good way to put it, because it's just like in middle school, someone's like, "Can I have a piece of gum?" and you're like, "Sure, don't tell anyone." And someone's like, "I just saw you give them a piece of gum." And then eventually, and then eventually you'd have a bunch of games called Fallout, and if you tried to search it, maybe Fallout wouldn't be the first relevant subject to come up on your search bar. It might be you got to just sift through like 300 different Fallout games.
Exactly, and
So
I
I
think
completely
that would
get
hurt their business. And I'm sure, and what kind of irked me about that video is that he kept using the name Bethesda when he showed his
ZeniMax,
the thing, and it said ZeniMax. Like why are you?
The parent company.
Yeah, like you understand that they're just like, you know, Bethesda and ZeniMax are pretty much hand in hand, like 100% hand in hand. They're even in the same building. But you have people who make games, and then you have the publisher, which is, I guess, ZeniMax, or the parent company that rakes in all the money. And they're independent, right? No one from Bethesda, like I said before, is like, all right, lawyers, we need you to take out everybody who says Fallout and stuff like that. Probably some guy, probably the COO of ZeniMax was like, okay, lawyers, you need to aggressively defend our stuff. And he probably said that in like 2005 or some shit, and they've just been doing it like retroactively. They're like, oh, well, Scrolls is close to Elder Scrolls, so let's go get that. And they're like, well, Fallout, like, nah, well, let's go get that one.
Check it down.
Yeah.
But I'm not on either side. I kind of understand, like, that sucks for that guy. But also, like, Fortress Fallout isn't really a good name. So
yeah, I think it could have a better name, but again, to be honest, I should have done this, but I didn't really look into much of what the game entailed. Obviously, the name Fallout can just, in your mind, gives you the image of that whole nuclear fallout thing, which is a popular market. Like, I mean, everyone
like zombies.
I mean, there's like Twilight Zone episodes that I just watched like a couple weeks back about fallouts, like and surviving a nuclear fallout and all that. So it's, I mean, you're right though. I think, and plus in another light, in a positive light, you know, every cloud has a silver lining. You know, in that video he says, I'm going to do it like I did before and have you guys kind of leave in the comments what you think the name should be. He really likes the name Fortress, which is fine. Fortress is good. I don't know if it's like a tower defense game.
Valve comes after him for Team Fortress.
Team Fortress.
God.
Wow.
Yeah, but no one would vilify Valve. They'll be like, oh, Valve is all right. Yep, they have a 100% right to take this guy down. Valve can do
Please
no
don't leak
wrong.
my Steam.
Valve can do whatever they want. No, that's true though. But yeah, I think it's nice that it's unfortunate, but the silver lining, it's just another way for his community and his fans to come together and do something together that they can all, you know, remember. They can be like, this was a hardship, but we came together. We thought of a cool name, and for whoever it is that mentions the name, and he comes out and says, I was sifting through the comments because he said, I'm not going to do a vote. I'm just going to scroll through the comments and figure something out, and I'll announce it when I find it. So whoever posts it and he picks it will be like, yeah, you know, they'll be able to say that forever. Like, I named Captain Sparkle's game. So I don't think it's that terrible.
Yeah, honestly, I think this will be his most successful game ever because of this whole thing. He got so much publicity from this.
Oh yeah. The whole any press is good press kind of thing.
So no matter what, he painted Bethesda in a bad light. Everybody got their pitchforks out, and now he's going to rake in a lot of money for his mobile game.
Yep. Something might have been all part of his master plan, might not have been. Who knows? The world.
He's
may
like, I know
never
Valve, or not Valve,
He's like, I'm gonna just slyly throw in Fallout here, see if anybody. Oh, they found it. Cool. Let's make a video. I doubt it actually was that, but some people probably have done that.
Yeah. It's a tricky business, I would imagine, creating games and having to think of names. I have a hard time naming my character in video games.
Mm-hmm.
I had the hardest time thinking of my name for my YouTube channel. Like, that's pretty rough. And then when you're thinking of a game that could eventually become a franchise if it if it becomes popular and stuff, not only is it hard to think of the name, but it's even harder to think of a name that that'll stick and that you feel comfortable is not going to get attacked.
Yeah.
Because it's got a similar word somewhere. So,
yeah,
all in good time, I suppose.
Someday maybe they'll not. Maybe people will slow down on it. Square Enix is pretty bad about it too, but like I said, maybe in time they'll learn to not
we'll
do
see.
that.
Yeah, I mean, especially with like indie games that don't have anything to do with your giant AAA games. It's like a mobile game. Like, I hate mobile games. I'm sure a lot of other people are like, well, I don't really like mobile games either. So I think that it's kind of silly, but
well, I mean, I guess there's not much more to talk about on that particular topic, just because, I mean, it's happened before, people talked about it, I would think that most people who follow kind of some gaming news would definitely agree, I guess, on some of these points that, like, it's at first you want to say, come on, Bethesda, what the hell? But then you look into it, if you're the kind of person like me where you really enjoy giving it your own opinion, you don't just go to the comment section and be like, I agree with that guy. Like, I brought up that guy's comment, but I don't agree with him. I don't think it's correct. I don't think that's what happened. But it's good to see it. I always love to see it from all sides. And I think that as big of a company is, it automatically they're going to be vilified and look like the enemy. But I think that's about it for that topic. I don't really think there's much else we can say about it.
No, probably not. Well, if we want to take 1 second here, Liftinger30 asked us how we came up with our names, which I think is actually an interesting question because you guys were kind of explaining it earlier just a little bit, and I kind of want to know more about your guys' name.
Oh, that's a good question, Liftinger. I don't know, Neanderthal. Tell us.
I was in the car with my friend Spencer, my friend Coulter, and we're going to make a YouTube channel. And we came up with like a bunch of really shitty names. And I'm like, well, I kind of want to do a name that acronyms into something like that can be initialized and can be easily condensed and marketed, right? So I was really into these YouTubers called Life's a Glitch TV, and they do StarCraft videos and stuff like that. And their acronym or initialism is Lag TV. And I'm like, that's genius.
That's super cool.
That is such a good name.
Yeah.
Because it's Lag TV. It's easy to remember, and it has everything to do with the channel, right? Like games and there's lag and stuff like that. So I'm like, that's awesome. So I came up with, well, I want to do something with like New Game TV or New Game something. And we couldn't come up with anything good. So I'm like, well, what are some N-words that aren't offensive and that can be used that aren't, super common but can still initialize? And I came up with the NFL Gaming. So it's all my idea. I'm the master.
That's pretty cool.
Good. It's all part of my plan.
Sorry, buddy. Taking all the credit. Fistcake, what about... I'll go last because I think mine's not as interesting, but Fistcake has to be an interesting name.
Well, it all started in high school, actually, but no. Actually, it did. My friends had a tendency to, for some reason, thought it was hilarious just to piss me off with random stuff. Like, sometimes they'll just, do, some random annoying habit that they know I find annoying for, a week straight. It was like, oh, hey. They'll say, I have, a hard time saying my G's at the end of my words. So they'll, make fun of me every time I try to say a G. I'll say singing or something. I can't do the hard G's. Right. Like, oh, do you mean singing? Like, shut up.
Get out of here.
Yeah. For a month, they randomly started calling me Cake. It wasn't even a fat joke or anything. They just randomly started calling me Cake. Like, hey, Cake, how's it going? I'm like, who are you talking to? Like, yeah, you're Cake now. I'm like, why? just cake. And it didn't like do anything. It just confused me half the time. So when I went to make what was it, like 4 years ago, I deleted my old Facebook and I had to make a new one. And basically I thought like, well, okay, what's a name that nobody would really know? And that would be able to kind of like hide away. Like people like wouldn't commonly search for it. So I just thought like, out of nowhere, I'm like, you know what, I'll throw a fist in there. So there's Fist Cake. And then Fist
awesome.
Cake.
You're like, oh my god, this hand I can fist.
I can make a cake out of this. Oh my god. No, I just thought like what was like the most like thing you wouldn't see with a cake. Like when you think of cake, you think like fork or spoon or something. Not too many people just use their giant fist to use cake. And for my YouTube channel, I just threw in Super there because it kind of reminds me of like Super Mario Brothers. So I thought like, Super Fist Cake, ha! But yeah, and I've just been obsessed with like Fist Cake and stuff. I have a friend that's working on layouts for me right now, and my new what is it? Like my new profile picture for my Facebook and my YouTube channel will be amazing because it's cake related, obviously.
I love cake.
Who doesn't cake exactly?
I think you have an awesome name that can make an awesome mascot.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like,
I mean, it has nothing to do with video gaming whatsoever, but it's. I did think it's memorable. Like, not too many people just walk around with the name Fist Cake, so.
So I think that can turn into a really nice mascot, like a superhero kind of like face.
Oh
Yeah.
god, super! Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I think it's great. I think you can definitely. I can just see really great channel art. I can see really great banners. I can see great thumbnails. Like anything. I don't know. Like for your thumbnails on your video. If someone makes you a good graphic of a fist cake, you should always have the fist cake in there. Or maybe your mascot should be a cake, and then it's got a fist coming out of it, and it's like punching something like on a thumbnail. If you're playing a game, like the cake is literally just. I was just about to say the cake is fisting the monster, but that's a little dirty.
maybe not that.
Maybe not that.
Not quite fisty. Maybe punching.
Maybe punching.
Maybe punching. But I think it'd be great. That's I was into it. Like very first time you started talking to us and you linked me the thing, I was like, that is a perfect name
for something.
Oh yeah, it's always great to hear people's stories.
How about yours? The experience.
All the experience. Well, this channel was originally going to be between myself and my brother. I've got two older brothers. One's a graphic designer, and it was going to be with him. And we had been thinking about it for like a year ago. We'd been thinking about it for a while, and I was like, man, I have a hard enough time thinking of names for characters in video games. I don't know what the channel could be. So, well, what do you want to do? And it's like, well, gaming, obviously, something gaming related. It needs to be a reference. A lot of what I do art-wise or something like that has to be a reference to something that comes through in some of my thumbnails. It comes through in the banner that I just made for my channel, and the name All the XP really kind of formed when we started looking at what kind of cool things. It's on the internet. YouTube's obviously on the internet. Gaming is a huge thing. So what kind of things from the internet can we pull into reference? And thought internet memes are a big deal. Like they're used everywhere. So we started looking at a few, and I noticed that I think it's called Hyperbole and a Half. I believe it's that little guy who throws his stuff, and they say like, "Eat all the cookies" or whatever.
Yeah.
Take all the money. It's essentially that, but it's grab all the experience. Because on the games you level up. You need experience. It's essential. So you don't want to half-ass it. You want to get half the experience. You want all the experience. So it's kind of what it came down to. And experience was too long of a word, and having all capitalized these, just conjunctions or whatever, and then EXP, everybody knows what EXP is, and experience works fine. So it kind of formed like that, and I kind of like it. I think we came down to an art style for the channel that that I think he's gonna take a run with it, and it looks pretty good. And I think it fits that whole silly kind of all the XP. And I don't know about you guys if you sign offs on any of your videos, but for a while I really wanted to try and figure something out for a sign off on my videos, and I thought of something really corny. I used it one time in pre-production and totally didn't use it because it was stupid, but. At the end of the video, I said, "Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Stick around for for the next episodes, and always remember, don't go for some of it, go for all of it," or something like that. And I sat there on the webcam for a while, and I was like, "God, that was horrible." So I just abandoned that idea. It'll never happen ever again, probably. So yeah, I mean, it's not as interesting of a story, but Fist Cake takes the cake.
Oh, put sunglasses.
Hold on.
Yeah. I don't have sunglasses, but I do have sunglasses. Yeah. Oh boy.
So no, my awkward sign off is I call my people who watch my show fist cakers. So
Fist cakers.
I believe that everybody has the ability to be a fist caker in deepest of hearts. So
That's
I
a
know
fantastic
everybody.
name.
Oh, that's funny. We don't call our people anything.
Yeah,
You don't even
see, I was
stand-
trying to think of giving my audience a name, but that won't happen. I don't know yet. I mean, part of what I was thinking is you'll just call them the experienced, but that also it's stupid. They're too forced.
I want something to come up organically, like tomatoes.
tomato or other homegrown
Tomatoes.
vegetables.
So
Expiates.
Oh yeah, going back from the desserts, we'll go to the meat and potatoes again.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
and along the subjects of people, like game companies kind of, not being the best of people to their fans, but whatever. One of you had a problem about Peter Molyneux. How do you say his last name?
Molyneux.
Molyneux.
Yeah, Peter Molyneux.
Well, let me like to
is-
explain that more for the people.
Yeah, certainly. That's fine. Peter Molyneux, let's see. He's getting a super bad rap right now, and it's not like it's not well deserved, I suppose, is how I should say that. He is the creator of a handheld game called Goddess. I believe it's on PC as well, but it's not like a finished product at all. It's not even a finished product on the iOS or whatever on the handheld mobile versions.
Yeah.
But if you guys recall, quite a while ago, it was like 3 years ago, I think, he had this whole campaign called Curiosity. There was a game called Curiosity, and it was a cube. It was a game where there was just a block, and there was this whole build-up behind it where whoever you had to click it, and it would break off little pixels, and you had to click it and click and click it. And he said the first person to uncover what's inside the Curiosity cube will have their lives changed forever. And life changing. He stressed it and stressed it and stressed it, and so finally somebody broke it down. It was like 1 billion clicks or something. I don't know the exact number, so don't quote me on that, but it was a ridiculous number.
Yeah.
And the gentleman who won is a kid by the name of Brian Henderson. And he uncovered it, and we learned that the prize was going to be that he was making a game called Goddess, which is a god game. And do you guys remember the game Black and White? It was also a god game.
Absolutely.
I love Black and White. Okay, so Peter Molyneux made like Black and White, so he's kind of got this thing for God games. He also made the game Populous back in like 1989, which is before I was born, so I never played it, but big deal. And so Goddess, he had these huge visions for, and so Brian Henderson was supposed to learn that. Of essentially what he was going to do is he was going to earn like 1% of the profits that came from Goddess, and he was going to get the chance to become the role of God of Gods in the game, and he was going to have an effect on everybody's game. And it was going to be this big connected game, this amazing idea, and it's been 3 years and nothing has happened.
Yeah.
Like nothing has happened, down to the point where I think it was Polygon, I should look that up really quick. Anyway, this gaming news outlet, reached out to Brian Henderson, and they were like, "Hey, you know, like, what's the deal? And he said, you tell me. That I haven't heard from them in like forever, like 2 years. Like they talked to him when he won, and then haven't talked to him since. And so he was in a recent interview, and he just got grilled, like absolutely hammered by this guy. The very first question was, do you believe or do you think you're a pathological liar?
Dude, just like right off the bat, that kind of set the tone for the whole thing.
Oh yeah, it was insane, and he couldn't even give an answer right away. So the guy came back and said, "I know that it's harsh, but do you think you're a pathological liar?"
Whew.
And yeah, I don't know if you guys got the chance to read it, and people in the chat, if you don't know about this, it's just this. It's an amazing article or interview, I guess, not article. It's this amazing interview that really shows you what kind of stuff happens behind the scenes, because Peter Molyneux had all of these promises. He went to Kickstarter, and he's a big guy. Like, he's got money and all this stuff. And so right away when he went on Kickstarter, people were like, okay, Molyneux, why are you going to Kickstarter? Like, that seems not right. You shouldn't be doing that. So, hashtag get wrecked interview styles. Anyway, and he said, well, look, like, we have this idea for this game. It's going to be amazing. We need about, I think it was like €100,000 or something like that. And they skyrocketed past it. And he made all this amount of money for these stretch goals and all these promises, tons of promises. And literally nobody, not a single person who pledged that higher amount and got those stretch goals have received anything. And so now it passes over into not only like ethical and stuff like that, it passes over into like, is it legal? Like Kickstarter, if you guys don't know, has very strict guidelines on if you reach stretch goals, you have to provide those. That's a product. Even if it's not finished, when somebody pays that much money for something that you say, we promise this is a pledge, when you pledge to give that to someone, you have to give it to them. And so there's kind of like this gray area right now, because his reactions were very, well, it's like, no, they're not, it's not illegal, they shouldn't get their money back because it's not done yet. And he said, it's been 3 years. When the hell do you think it's going to be done? How long do these people have to wait after paying you money?
Well, what's kind of funny is he's like, all right, guys, I know Goddess was a failure, but my new game, The Trial, is going to be fucking off the chain. All right?
Yeah.
I want you all, it's going to change the way that you look at your mother. It's going to be so, I can't even explain it. Like, it's going to be awesome. But yeah, fuck Goddess. But The Trail is going to be so good. Trust me.
Trust me, guys. One more time.
So, I'm a big fan of Peter Molyneux. Before I realized he kept under-delivering on his games. I played Fable, which he was a part of, and I didn't know anything about Fable. So I went into Fable, blank slate, didn't know anything about Peter Molyneux or his other games or anything like that. And I'm like, Fable is one of the best games I've ever played in my life. Without any of the hype. If you add all the things that he promised, then yeah, it totally under-delivered. But I went in there with not knowing anything. So I'm like, Fable, I put like 300 hours into that game.
It's a pretty good game.
Just a defining chapter in like why I like action RPGs so much. So Fable 2 comes around, and now I'm like older. I'm like, oh, okay, I understand now. This Fable 2 is gonna revolutionize the way that I look at RPGs. Fable 2 fucking sucked.
Yeah.
There's no boss fight at the end, and everything was like, it wasn't good. It wasn't even as good as Fable 1. So Fable 3 comes around, right? And I'm like, Fable 3 is gonna end the world. It's gonna be so good.
I'm having like war flashbacks while you're talking about this. I remember all this.
PTSD because of Fable 3.
Oh god,
it was bad.
Fable 3 is, out of the 3 games I've ever pre-ordered in my whole gaming life, just so bad. It was so bad. And what is amazing to me is that they didn't even reach the Fable 1 status. They were that bad.
Yeah,
they reverted. So it's now I'm just like, no, Peter, why? Stop.
Why you do this, Peter?
Stop saying things.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Just make games and shut up.
Yeah.
But I guess I'll play devil's advocate for 1 second here because of the whole Kickstarter thing. Basically, this is from the website itself. Not Peter's Kickstarter page, but from Kickstarter itself. If people like the project, they can pledge money to make it happen. If the project succeeds in reaching its funding goal, all backers' credit cards are charged when time expires. If the project falls short, no one is charged. Funding on Kickstarter is all or nothing. So do you think that maybe he oversold everything because there was such a great pressure that if they were like even like $5 short or whatever, that he would get no funding for his game whatsoever?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I'm so pleased that you brought that up because it's actually one of the things that he ended up saying was okay, look, there's almost like this intrinsic thing that happens on Kickstarter because of that. You get, say you're like $5,000 or euros or whatever short of your goal, and you have like 24 hours left. He said eventually it comes down to like this, well, fuck, should we just say anything to get our $5,000? Because like we're like right there. Should we just say anything and just make it work, like figure it out? And if that's, I believe he wasn't saying that's exactly what they did, but that's how Kickstarter feels.
Yeah.
And I really hope that's the case, that they didn't necessarily do that. It seems like they did that just because this is happening. Like, people haven't received anything that they have, and I'm not sure like how he's ever going to get out of it. Part of me feels bad for the guy because he says right here, the only answer for me is to retreat. He says, I love my games and I love sharing them with people. It's this amazing, incredible thing that I get to do with my life, creating ideas and sharing them with people. And the problem is that it just hasn't worked. Well, really, to be honest, yeah, that makes you feel kind of bad for him. But the problem is that he just says too much.
Yeah, if he like just talked about the game, like if he just didn't like oversell it, he wouldn't be in such a predicament. But I mean, I can see him doing that for Kickstarter specifically. Whereas with like the Fable games and whatnot, he didn't have to do that. He could have just said, "This is going to be the next Fable game." There you go. That's what it is.
Yeah. Here's what the game is. Here's what we think is cool. I've done.
Yeah, not like, hey, this is going to revolutionize everything in the entire world. The world will spin backwards. Day will become night. Everything will be different as we know it.
Yeah. This game will bring Jesus back to Earth.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
That was a risky joke.
That was a very risky joke. Luckily, we only had 11 viewers, so at the worst, we could lose maybe 6 or 5.
Yeah.
So we should be fine.
Well, we'll see what happens.
But actually, there is one good thing that came out of it. Since Peter couldn't deliver his promise, the people who made Ollie Ollie, I can't remember what their name is off the top of my head. I'll have to look it up here in 1 second. But basically, they're making a new game called Not a Hero. And they made Brian Henderson. Is that his name, correct?
Yeah, I believe that's his name.
Yeah, they made him the main character for the game, where basically you play as him, and he has god powers. Like, he just basically is invincible, and he just decimates enemies trying to kill him and whatnot. But it was just nice to see that somebody else, like Peter, the people behind the Goddess, couldn't deliver their promise. Some other game company went out of their way to make sure that guy felt that not everybody's so bad. Not everybody's not going to keep their promises. There are actually some good companies out there still.
Right.
But let me look into it real quick here. But yeah, that's the one good thing that came out of the entire thing, that at least somebody's looking out for this kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's kind of frustrating to me about the guy who won the Curiosity thing is he gets 1% of the revenue, right? So 1% isn't that much. I really feel like they could have just said, okay, Goddess is donezo. Like, it's fucked. Like, we're not going to be able to push it out the way that we thought we would. And since you still won the thing, we're going to give you 1% of the profits that it's made, plus interest for maybe 15% on 1%, right?
Yeah.
Paid him, gave him that money, and that's still life-changing, right? that's still like a lot of money, and then that also makes them look good, right? Like, he doesn't. I feel like that would have been an easy way out for Peter to choose. Like, oh yeah, we messed up, we didn't get in contact with him, but we're gonna give him this money and we're gonna do this, and then, you know, as an apology.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would have been the best way to do it.
Right. Right. I mean, there are plenty of ways that he could have fixed this, and it seems like, to me, if you're going to be the front man of, obviously, your company, and you're going to be the one saying these things, and it's easy. And look, this is me. If there's something that I'm excited about, you know, if I were to ever try to sell someone something or whatever, and I am stoked about it, that's gonna fly through. You know, I'm not that great at a poker face to be like, no, I don't. You know, cool, this car's good, or something. You know, if you're selling cars, you want to be like, yeah, look at this car. The problem with me is so like, cool. Well, the problem with me is if I'm selling a brand new car, for like an analogy, I would want that car. So I'm going to tell you all the reasons that it's dope and all the reasons that I would want the car. And I can understand him making this game. He's so passionate about it. I can understand where it comes from. The problem is that he just says too much. And I mean, I know we just covered that, but like down over here, there's a quote from one of the guys that works for him. By the way, the interview was with Rock Paper Shotgun, where that guy was just grilling him with like really harsh questions.
Rock Paper Shotgun. They're usually pretty.
Yeah,
everybody loves.
I'm at it right now. It's pretty intense. He actually talked about Rock Paper Shotgun. I think his name is John, the guy who's interviewing him, was talking about how someone came in from outside, like a fan. Didn't see the game becoming what he wanted it to be, so he like pursued a job with 22 Cans. And right here he says, this is a quote, just to clarify, 5 days ago, Conrad, the guy, wrote on your forum, from the minute I played the alpha, I could see the direction Goddess was heading in, and I like it. It half a year contact with Peter personally before I was offered a design position, initially unpaid, and then another year working at 22 Cans to get a position there. So just to be clear, he says that he played the alpha and didn't like it and then came to work for you guys. And that's during a part in the interview. It's about, God, this thing is so long. It's probably like 30% down the list, but essentially he's kind of pointing out that like at this point, it had already been like a year or more since you had promised this game. Sorry, I'm saying my words wrong. Initially, he said it was about 6 to 9 months that they saw that they could have this game out and finished, and it's been 3 years. So it kind of comes down into this situation where you're thinking, well, is it really just as easy as keep your mouth shut? Because there is a certain level of, I believe, of hype that you need to build, especially on something like Kickstarter. You need people to see the image that you're going to have. I think the real problem, it's not a matter of just keeping your mouth shut. It's just you have to be super clear, because in this interview he says something like, you know, it's not a matter of me lying. He said, I can't consciously recall a true lie that I ever said. And I mean, a pathological liar is someone who lies and doesn't really even realize that they're lying. So the chances of him being a pathological liar is like 99%. He could absolutely be a pathological liar. I think it's a matter, because he says, I say things as I think people take them as fact, or like that's going to happen. And like, if you can say that now and you've known that for a while, then shame on you, because you should be able to say like, we hope to do this, or don't say it at all. Like, make it a stretch goal and say like, if possible, you know, make some of those really difficult ones way up there, like, you know, way up there in the stretch goals, so that, you know, you have the money to figure out what it is that you need to do to make that possible. I feel terrible for the Brian Henderson guy. I mean, that's super. Imagine how much time he spent uncovering that Curiosity Cube, to then be told that he's going to get all this money and he's going to get this really awesome stuff, and then to be shunned for like 3 years. It's like
It's-
it's not like a simple sorry is gonna fix it.
Yeah, it's a big smack in the face.
Yeah, they really have to. I don't know. They just really have to turn something around, and he gets hammered in this. I feel like he should be. Rock paper shotgun. He said it's not. He's not trying to necessarily vilify Peter. He's just asking him the question: do you think you're a liar?
Yeah.
And I guess that's just me being kind of a fairly soft-hearted person. Makes me feel like, well, I don't think Peter Molyneux is a malicious person. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think he's doing it to be an asshole. I think.
Yeah,
I think he believes it.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
Yeah, I think he says something and believes that it's possible without really consulting stuff, because they had this idea in the works to do this really awesome multiplayer kind of aspect that would allow Brian Henderson to become the God of Gods, and they were working on it. And he said part of what happened is one of the things he quote unquote lied about was that they weren't going to go to a publisher because they were using Kickstarter, and then it went to a publisher. And so that's the question that popped up. Like, you told us you weren't going to do that, and you went to a publisher. And he said, well, that's because we had basically all this code written, and then they told us that, oh, sorry, we're closing that down, so now you have to rewrite your entire code, which is a major setback. But considering his history with how this works and how many times this has happened, I don't think that's enough to blame it on. Like, that's a major setback, but I don't think that's like an excuse.
No.
For some of that stuff. I would love to see beautiful games like Black and White again. I would love to see the same feeling and get the same feeling that Fable 1 gave me when I first played it.
Yep.
And I feel like it can only come from Peter Molyneux, but the problem is he's getting so grilled right now, and like I said, partially, like pretty much rightfully so. He's definitely playing the victim. If you just had read some of that interview, he really kind of, at first he says this, and then he goes, well, like, I'm there till 2 a.m. and I get yelled at by my wife every night because I come home late. And it's like, dude, again, this is still kind of your fault. Like, everything that happened is still kind of because you couldn't keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to feel bad for him, I guess, which is where that's where I'm sitting on the fence. It's like, I don't like you, but I do, because you've made some games that were really important to me.
Well,
I'm sure he... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I think it's time to let the idea of, like, the 90s Peter Molyneux go.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Let it go.
Just...
Damn.
Because
Let it
he's
go.
he's never going to deliver, I think.
No, I don't think it's going to happen anymore.
That he used to. And I think once people take that out of their mind, that he's going to make Dungeon Keeper 3 and it's going to be great, and he's going to make Fable 4 and it's going to be Fable, like you plant an acorn and the tree fucking grows, and then you're going to like play Black and White 3 and you're going to have like a giant ass lion and name it Jose. I don't know, but what I think they need to let that part of that have him go, and then kind of now start judging him on his recent activities.
Yep.
And I think the latest Goddess thing is going to do that. I think this is the end of people putting faith in Peter Molyneux.
Yeah, I believe that's true. I mean, just as a side note, I picked up Goddess when he first talked about it. I was like, this game, it reminds me a lot of Black and White in a way, except you don't have a giant monster that kind of scares your people into doing what you want.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool, but it died off for me very quickly because there just weren't the things there that I thought would be there. So like you said, I think, like, the way I live my life most of the time is, okay, so that happened in the past, and it's right now, and the only thing that matters is right now and where we're going in the future. He can say everything he wants, people can believe him or not. If he says he's going to back out of the media, okay, back out of the media. Like, people are upset with you right now, it's probably the best idea to just do that. Let it cool down, and then if you have something that's amazing later on, that's finished or actually going to happen, then come
Just
out.
release it.
Yeah. I mean, you guys know about, this is kind of off the top, well, not really off the topic, but like Guild Wars 2. Do you know how ArenaNet announced Guild Wars 2? Like, they never said like a release date. All the frequently asked questions on that game. I love how ArenaNet did this. People were like, they wanted it, and people were like, when is it going to launch? Like, what's the release date? Give us a time frame. And they're like, it's going to be done when it's done. And then all of a sudden, like, the next Tuesday, yeah. And then one day it was like, next Tuesday, Guild Wars 2 is launching, and I was like, what in the world?
Oh my god!
I wasn't ready for this.
Yeah, it was insane, and I think that's a really clever way to do it because you know, as much as people love letting people see their games early or whatever and kind of be part of the development process, I think it takes away from. It actually, to me, this is a different topic we could talk about on a different show, but it takes away from some of the creativity from the developing company, almost. It's cool to let people in on what you're doing and to make all these promises, but I think some of these developing companies are really talented. Let them do just do your thing. Trust yourselves. Do your own thing and don't talk about it for a little while.
Believe in yourself. Believe in the heart of the games. Oh.
To play a children's card game.
Oh god. Well, before we get into Yu-Gi-Oh, let's not even get into Yu-Gi-Oh at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, I agree that I think the whole Peter Molyneux situation, he needs to shut up, maybe take a step away, really look at himself and the way he deals with shit, and then change everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you know, make a fucking game. Make a good game, and then just be like, all right, guys, I made this game. And then everybody's going to be like, oh my god, this literally,
is actually good.
Like, everybody can walk on water now. He was right.
Jesus Simulator 2015.
Jesus Simulator. That's great. No, I think you're right, and this is something on a more personal note, but I mean, I think that if he's really having like family issues and marital issues, then absolutely back off and work on your personal life, and then come back. There's obviously something along the way that didn't work. Again, I don't think anyone really thinks that he doesn't have a serious passion for this. I think he just got tied up and couldn't figure it out. He didn't know how to fix it. So all in good time. Hopefully he makes the right decision, I suppose.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see. But moving on from that to this new topic that's totally different, but you know, transitions are kind of hard. Gamergate.
Wow, +1 for all those. Wow.
Yep. We went there. I'm very smooth. I've been drinking green tea all goddamn day, and I am on a roll right now. So
the best transition I've ever heard in my life.
Just roll a 20 on that segue.
That was amazing. Segues.
Critical segue.
King of segues.
Such a success.
All right.
Oh gosh. So who wants to open this one up? I'm not good at explaining things, so
I'll just say from my own personal. I can't speak for the other two, but when we talk about Gamersgate, or at least when I talk about Gamersgate, I'm not an expert.
Neither am I.
I don't. You know, I kind of understand it, and I kind of don't. So whatever we say, or I say, or they, you know, whatever. Don't take it to heart, I guess, is what I'm like. If you get offended, I'm sorry.
Do not quote us ever.
Yeah, I don't want to be on like Reddit tomorrow and like, oh, these fucking guys, I hate everything, and I'm like, well,
they said words I don't like.
So
let's face it, guys, that's gonna happen either way.
Yeah.
No,
to me, it seems like it's two different problems, but under the same name. That's what
exactly.
That's what my confusion is at. But I guess at the very, very core of it is the whole lack of transparency between game journalists, game companies, and gamers.
Yep.
That's like what kind of started it, and then it led on to the other, like, second part of the misogyny and the how gamers are viewed as terrible people, which I mean, that just kind of goes to the point of like the only news that you'll see on the news is bad news. It's very rare that you see you'll see before you see a gamer saying like, oh yeah, Markiplier donated like $1 billion to charity or whatever, because he does that on a yearly basis anyways, I think.
Yeah, he's doing one tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah, before you'll see that, you'll see 10 stories about how there's a collection of people on the internet saying, well, they made death threats, they released addresses,
personal
information. They're threatened with rape and everything. Gamers are the worst.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or if you're 15 different news articles, gamers are dead.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gamers
Yep.
don't exist. Yeah.
That was pretty crazy, that one there, that trending thing that happened. Well, essentially, from the very beginning, from what I understand, there was certainly some ethical issues going on within that industry. Basically, there was one person, I believe she was a female. That doesn't mean anything. I'm not being a misogynist. I'm just saying facts.
Right? It's hard to talk about. You're like,
Yeah,
it's sexist. I'm like, I just said the word female.
Yeah, it's super... It's
Shit, I
super
fucked up
touchy.
already.
It's super touchy, but essentially, one person, as far as I know, had some connections with about 5 people that were were in the game journalist kind of market niche thing, and at least 2 of them, they had a sexual kind of relationship. I'm not going to say this at the same time or anything. I have no idea, but essentially, what happened is that person, one person who was they were making a game, basically like an indie game, and they had written. Some of the people that they were acquainted with, some of these game journalists, wrote positive reviews and stuff about their game, and none of this was disclosed. Like, it wasn't disclosed that they had kind of a relationship or whatever, which is a huge ethics violation when it comes to being a games journalist. That transparency isn't there, the integrity isn't really there, and it got out, and people started getting really upset about it. And then it goes back and forth into this misogyny thing. A lot of it is, not female protagonists not being around in games enough. Like, there's not enough. Now, that is kind of true in some cases, but there are quite a few games out there that have female protagonists who aren't hypersexualized, and they're absolutely fantastic. Like Tomb Raider, I'm playing through Crystal Dynamics Tomb Raider right now, and it's beautiful. and it's wonderful. Like, yeah, she's a fine-looking lass. She's also virtual. But they don't, if you get attacked, they don't, rip the top of your shirt, so, you got cleavage. It's not hypersexualized.
There was that controversial rape scene.
There was.
Suggested rape scene.
Yeah, I remember that. And the thing is, I understand how that could rub people the wrong way, but they're going for more of a sort of a realistic approach to that. Imagine it. She's a pretty girl, and she's being basically kidnapped by these guys. That, no matter what people want to think, that would probably happen by a group of bandits.
Well, the thing is, a lot of subjects are really taboo. Like rape. Rape is taboo. I don't even feel comfortable saying it because it's so taboo. But it happens. It's a real life thing. All right? Yeah. It sucks and it happens and that's terrible. But to ignore it in media, like there's rape in movies, there's rape in books, there's rape in music, so why all of a sudden is games, which is a form of media, they can take real life shitty things and add them to game, and somehow that's trivializing it too.
Yeah,
a lot of people are like,
that's the problem.
You're making rape seem like it's not a big deal. No, that's not what they're doing.
No, not at all.
The rape is a real thing, and it sucks. Yeah,
and that particular scene that people were mad about, look, that's like near the beginning of the game, so and I haven't played much of it. He literally grabs her shoulder and kind of rubs his thumb.
Yeah,
and
it's
absolutely, it's suggested. It's not like take her to the back or something. He doesn't rope her inappropriately. It's just, I mean, if anybody really touched me like that was an evil person, I would feel very uncomfortable. They were just trying to get it through there that this is like a serious situation. They wanted you to feel for her in the situation so that when she kills him, you don't feel like this is just a game about senseless murder. There's a reason. And so, I remember that. Good job for bringing that up. But, I mean, that's kind of what this whole thing, it started about this one person who had these relationships, and it's no longer about her. It's no longer about that person anymore. It's about this, in the transparency in game journalism. It's about, it's actually about game journalists essentially eating themselves by targeting and attacking their own demographic. The people who they benefit from, they profit from, and all that are us, the gamers. We read game articles, we read game journalist blogs and stuff like that. We basically give them their paychecks, and then they turn around and they say things like "You're worse than ISIS" or whatever. I don't know if everyone's up to date. ISIS decapitated at least 2 real journalists. I don't think any of us gamers are decapitating game journalists.
Keep on down low.
That's a seriously offensive thing to some people.
It is.
I mean,
yeah.
for me, I laugh it off because it's ridiculous.
And what it does is it totally takes away from those actual journalists being killed. Like, it trivializes them. Like, gamers are as bad as ISIS when ISIS is killing people. Really, they're really killing people. Like, it's insane. They could even, make a connection like that.
Yeah, you're right. In fact, it's very, I'm willing to put aside everything for a moment to have a moment of silence for the people who were, horribly treated over there and that, lost their lives to ISIS and stuff. I really think that there are some things you can joke about. And I don't think that they were joking. They might have been, but that's seriously not something to joke about.
Yeah,
for many reasons. One, it's like joking about rape. If you're with your buddies in a dorm room or something, and you're not serious and everybody knows it, maybe it's okay. But you don't go out into public and make rape jokes.
Absolutely
and
not.
you don't post it on Twitter and talk about how, gosh, you guys should be ashamed of yourselves. As a game journalist, you gamers are terrible. Blah 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 blah. Making us sound bad, it's super offensive because it's like, okay, well, like where do I go for my gaming news now? How do I know which games journalist isn't just writing a positive review because they slept with the developer?
Or get free games or systems or whatever that are getting bribed in various forms. It's just hard to trust people now that this is all out and about, now that this is all brought to light. It's really hard to trust the people that are supposed to be there for us. They're supposed to be our voice, and they're not. They are. It's like they don't care.
Yeah.
It's not like it is that they do not care anymore.
Yeah, and we had mentioned just a little bit in the preparation for this show tonight that their media already, news and stuff like that, already paints gaming and gamers in a bad light. And for me, that's really frustrating because I don't game to I don't game to just be lazy. I game because it's an escape, which is a true thing. There are a lot of things that are escapes for people. It's an escape. It allows you to really, at least for me, it allows me to really appreciate the time and effort that someone's put into something that they truly believe in. And so with media already looking down on us, and then for games journalists of all people doing the same thing, it's really rough. And it seems like something that's gonna, like an Ouroboros or something. It's just it's like a snake eating itself. It's pointless. And I mean, I know a lot of this stuff flared up about 4 or 5 months ago, but it's recently been in the news again because that Law and Order SVU episode about the game. I didn't watch it myself. I don't believe any of us did, but Fistcake, you had a buddy who did, and it's just obvious that's a crime show. Special Victims Unit. People die. You see horrible things, and it was just this. It was a super controversial episode for stuff like that, and it just kind of brought everything back up, which, to answer Gingerbread's question, is pretty much why we decided it was important to talk about. Just last week, people were talking about it too. And I really think that, people like Total Biscuit, some of these really big guys on the internet, well-known, point out some really good facts that they tweeted could we get some integrity, some more integrity from our games journalists. And then there were people who supported the games journalists who were sending you could consider them legitimate death threats to Total Biscuit, because
to a lot of different people. They even shut down a whole convention. Because this one lady got a death threat, and that it was so real personal information that she didn't go, and they almost shut the whole thing down.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that it's it's really repulsive. Honestly, it's crazy because it's just it leaves such a bad taste in people's mouths about anything that the three of us have YouTube channels and they're all gaming. So indirectly or almost actually directly, we're affected by this kind of stuff because it just. Like no matter what we do, we're gonna have this ceiling against us that we can't like push past for quite a while now, even more so now, and it's too bad.
Yeah, we can't trust. I mean, game journalists. It's really hard for the fact that the game journalists aren't their voices now. So who's it going to be? Just all of YouTube? Is it going to be all of Reddit? Is it going to be certain people? Who's going to speak for us? If everybody that did speak for us can't be trusted by either can't be trusted by the people they're speaking for or the people they're talking to,
Yeah.
Right.
It's just a really bad situation.
Yeah, it just seems like a silly situation that I feel like should never really happen in the first place. And I mean, someone had made the argument on a video I watched in research for this about how gaming news, game journalism and stuff is a fairly new market. It's a fairly new thing. And so a lot of people in the industry know each other. So it's almost a little bit difficult to not have an unbiased or an uncolored opinion to begin with.
Yeah.
I don't know if I completely agree with that. I understand the point, and I'm sure that is the case in quite a few places. But other than that, I don't think it's an excuse for this kind of behavior in the first place.
No.
It's stupid. I mean, Total Biscuit himself, he's super transparent about, and he's not a journalist, mind you. I know that he's a critic, but there are plenty of people who don't like him. But no matter what you say, he's very good at being transparent about. Okay, look, someone was going to provide me such and such items. So I could review their game or whatever, and he said, I feel like it's the fact that they even offered it is a problem to him because he obviously turned it down because he feels like that they would want to kind of color his opinion on it. But just by offering it, even though he declined it, made him a little bit miffed about it. And so he feels like his review quite possibly could have been a slight bit harsher than it would have been had they not done that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can appreciate stuff like that. I wish that I could know that every games journalist and stuff like that would understand that and have a code of ethics. Not everyone has their own code of ethics written out, but there's got to be someone who can take control and say, look, if you're going to be in the game journalism industry, like here's exactly everything you have to adhere to.
Yeah.
I don't want to put a real tight grip on everybody, but I feel like there's some very basic things that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I honestly feel like gaming journalism is fairly new. It's like what, maybe 20 years old. And that's not that's nothing, right? Like movies have been around for over like 100 years now.
If I remember right, yeah.
And I honestly think this situation right here and the rise of certain personalities like Total Biscuit and stuff like that the art, like gaming reviews and gaming journalists are on the way out. I think the new media, which is YouTube personalities or bloggers or people you can trust, right? Like you respect their opinion. I think that's going to become the new norm. Instead of I'm going to go to IGN and look at their scores. I'm going to be like, no, I'm going to go to YouTube. I'm going to freaking put in Pokemon Sapphire, and I'm going to watch this guy who does Pokemon Sapphire videos and see if he likes it.
Yeah.
Because I have tastes similar to his, or, like, I think that's going to be the new norm, and I think that's great. I think that's good. I think a lot of the other industries, movies in particular, could take something away from that and apply it.
Yeah.
I mean, but just leave it for the people. Like as we were talking about earlier, how I prefer just the way I YouTube, or the way I like people who do YouTube, is that you just play the game and let the people see it for themselves. And you can make whatever comments you want to make, or you can point out things, whatever you want to point out. But basically, everybody should just make their own opinion about it. Like if you're playing a certain game, I might really like it. Somebody else might hate it for the same reason I like it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a lot easier just to have somebody just to play the game, show a video of it, and have people make their own decisions about it, rather than trying to force your own opinions onto other people, especially about subjective stuff like any kind of like media or art, which is what games are considered a form of art nowadays.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely. Your point about it kind of slipping out and no longer being a thing is true. There's YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. You can find just about anything on here. And it means that there are people that are established, like there's some very successful reviewer people for all sorts of stuff, not just gaming, but for the sake of the argument, this is about gaming.
Movies, books, music, all that's on YouTube.
Yeah, and I know game journalism is different than being a critic, but it's almost the same thing. Like, yeah, there are different articles and stuff, but just because Total Biscuit and some of these other guys are game critics doesn't mean that's all they do. Like, sometimes he'll do a Let's Play, and if he's doing a Let's Play, you get to see it all for yourself. It gets in some of his just kind of like WTF is things, it's only a small snippet of the game. It might be like an hour of footage. So they cover all ranges of things, and as someone who, myself isn't a journalist, but I can understand, I've seen this happen to friends and family where they're kind of being pushed out. They were here and they're doing their thing, and they're starting to be pushed out, and they're scrambling. They're trying to figure stuff out. So I almost think it's like an injured dog. Like you have a dog that loves you, and it falls or it breaks its leg or something, or gets stuck in something, and you try to help it, and it snaps at you. It doesn't realize that you're trying to help it, or that you've never meant it any harm, but it bites at you. It's kind of, to me, it feels the same way as that. It's like they're slipping, and instead of just being like, okay, how can we figure out how to keep this going, or like this is their career. Like it'd be the same thing as someone having a midlife crisis. You lose your job, you don't know what the hell to do. It's got to be scary for them. But
absolutely,
there's still, no matter from all points, there are a few bad eggs in every bunch, and I think that it's not just the games journalists being bad. There are some really nasty people who represent the gaming side, like the people who are being attacked, and it's like, that's not me. I don't want someone looking at me when I talk, or if I, start to grow on my channel and do similar reviews or give my opinions on things. I don't want to be painted in a bad light because somebody else did something stupid.
Yeah. Well, I totally believe that the industry as a whole will become better once there's transparency. Like that, nothing but good things can come from that, I feel. Like, okay, so you took a fucking laptop, okay? Just say you took the laptop in your video. Just say it. Oh, they offered me a laptop. I took it. Okay? This is my review. Okay, now with that information, you judge whether or not I'm being biased or not.
Yeah, exactly.
When we get review copies, we've gotten a few, I try to be like, okay, yep, they gave us a review copy. So that people know that they're not bribing me, or they're not they're not going to try to color my critique or anything like that. And even if they did, I would say it in the front of the video, the freaking number one thing I would say, and then I think that's fine. I think just transparency, like if that's it. And with that girl, she slept with the guys, or the guy, or whatever. All he had to say in his review is that I have a personal relationship with the developer. That is it. That's all he needed to say, and that would have been okay. None of this would have really exploded as bad as it did. So I think it's just another one of those things where we're going to have to kind of sit back and hope that everyone grows up a little bit, which is asking a lot.
you would think that it's not that much to ask to say, like, just get over it. Like, just, like, move on with yourselves. But I just
think
don't think it's going to happen very quickly, at least.
The whole situation really put a big gash in gaming as a whole, or at least as being taken seriously as an art form.
Yeah.
Needs
to be.
Yeah. It's starting to get towards a more as a more accepted. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. I was going to say line of work for some people. You know, not that people say like, "Oh, you make games for a living." That's stupid. A job is a job. Like if you're making ends meet, you can support your family. That's fine. But just games in general are becoming a little bit more understood. And sooner or later, it's probably going to take over. Like it's going to be all this virtual reality kind of stuff that comes in. It's all going to be integrated, and I just think there's no going around it. It's something that's going to be here for a while, which is why I don't think that this Gamergate thing is going to be a huge issue necessarily. I think it's going to be one of those like we learn from our mistakes kind of a thing. And
I hope so.
Yeah. You would really hope that everyone learns from their mistakes, and that there's a couple of good voices out there who have the power to make a difference, like people like Markiplier. He's got the power to do quite a bit, and it's not like he's a god or a king. He hates thinking of himself as the leader of his followers. But he always reminds everyone that, you know, together the 6 million of us have a lot of power. We can do a lot of stuff. And he's got one of the best communities I've ever seen. So that would be one of my main arguments to someone who really thinks that gamers are bad people.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's just like one of the more popular people too. You could probably go up, like, search for like people that aren't as famous as him, donating their free time or donating money to charity or trying to make a positive thing out of the world.
Right.
But like right now, off the top of my head, I'd think Markiplier right off the top of my head.
Yeah, he's growing quick, and it's because he's pretty transparent about stuff. I mean, not that I'm not saying I know everything about the guy, but he's very good at sharing hardships and all this stuff, and he's very good at being there for people. And I think, you know, he's in a really he built something really amazing that I think could be used as an example for some time to come. So
yeah, I've actually never watched Markiplier. I first heard about him in reference to PewDiePie, and I'm not trying to shit on PewDiePie or people who like PewDiePie, but he's not the kind of content that I like. I like Total Biscuit and more on the serious side of, you know, critiquing and stuff like that. But I might have to check him out since you guys hold him in such high regards. I really thought he was like kind of screamy and
no,
PewDiePie-ish.
Yeah, he's changed a lot over his journey on YouTube. He's super fast growing. He's just a good guy, to be honest. I mean, this is kind of getting a little bit off topic, but essentially he made his fan base around like horror games. That's pretty much what he does. Now he's big enough he can play like whatever he wants because people are there because they like him as a person. But to begin with, you could probably get that screaminess out of him, but it's for good reason. It's not like he's playing something really silly and just screaming at the microphone to be silly. He actually has quite an awesome voice that he warms up every time he makes a video, and he does. Skull Warrior's right. He gets very personal with his fans. And I don't think PewDiePie's hilarious and he's very successful, but I think it's an entirely different ballgame, the way he runs his business and the way Markiplier runs his. So
yeah,
I think we covered that part. I think we covered most of it, at least as much as we understand about Gamersgate and whatnot.
Yeah.
Unless anybody else had more of a point, I can't think of more off the top of my head. Looking through my notes, we touched at least about everything I know of off the top of my head.
Yeah, we went off a little bit and helped some people. So
yeah. So I can, we can go to the Pimp Our Channel portion of the podcast.
Shameless plugging and
oh, there's background music. Sorry, you guys keep talking. I'll do the background music.
All right.
There's no talking. God damn it, guys.
You
You
gotta
had
talk,
one
you
job. Jesus.
I can't talk under singing.
I'm stressed. I feel like I have to rap now.
You're beatboxing too good.
I got swept up in the beatbox.
Oh man.
Oh god.
No, I
So-
think this was good. I do think that we could probably move on to the closing of the show. We had a pretty good turnout this time. I think I'm really surprised. I know a couple of my friends came, so thank you guys for that. It really means a lot for you guys to show up for the first episode. I'm definitely liking this crew. You know, we've talked for a couple of days before we even did this, but this is pretty fun. We're pretty cool guys, so I think it's good. And I mean, in the future, we're going to be trying to do some, maybe getting like a guest on for a fourth person. Just so people know what we plan on. May not be next week, not entirely sure, but we'll work it out, and you guys, you'll be surprised. We'll just think of it as a surprise. And I'm very excited to get some more people on the show eventually, so we can talk about that.
Yep.
Other than that, I guess Super Fish Cake. How can people get a hold of you? How can they follow what you're going to be doing?
Well, pretty much everything. I got a Facebook, I got a Patreon, which nothing right now. I have a Twitter.
There we go. Sorry, the
go ahead.
OBS light was like, it wasn't popping up your picture. Now it is. You're good.
Oh,
My
okay,
bad.
cool. Check out my face right now because I got stuff and things. Follow. Usually, if you want to talk to me or if you want to get like basically the page that covers all my news, you want to go to my Facebook, which is Zach Fistcake, which you now know my first name.
Zach
Shit.
Fistcake.
Everything else
sounds like a
else-
video game name.
Zach Fistcake. Yeah, no, but everything else is Super Fistcake. So if you can't find one Fistcake, you can always find the other one. But there's always at least two Fistcakes so far out in the world. But yeah, but basically my central hub of all my news information will be on my Facebook, and I upload videos every Monday and Friday. I have a lot going on, so I can't really update 15 videos every day like some people around here. No. But that's the best way to get a hold of me, and I hope to see you guys later on my stuff and things. Okay.
So, all the experience, you want to hit us up?
Absolutely. I just want to say thank you guys again for coming and supporting us today. Had a whole bunch of fun. I'm very excited about this. You can reach me. I've got a Twitter, at alltheXP, just like it says right there in your bottom left-hand corner. We've got youtube.com. You can search alltheXP. And then I do have a Facebook, All the XP, as well. The Facebook is a little less updated than things like the Twitter or the YouTube. I try to upload 2 videos a day, every day of the week, except for Sunday. That's kind of my day. Spend time with my family, watch The Walking Dead. And I've been having a lot of fun doing a lot of collab stuff, so you can head over there. We got a 4-person horror game we played recently, so definitely go check it out. Twitter, All the XP, YouTube, All the XP, and Facebook.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I want to quickly shout out the people who followed while we were streaming.
Okay.
Thanks, Skull Warrior. Thank you, Audie. Thank you, Dull Target. Thank you, The Scars That Show. It was a pretty intense name. And thank you, Mana League, for following.
Thank you,
Also,
everybody, for watching.
You know what? I had a pimp my own page, but apparently I didn't put it on the thing, so I'm just gonna do it live.
Right now.
So you can find us at youtube.com/Neanderthal Gaming TV. We upload probably no less than 15 videos a week. At most 25 videos a week. You can find us at Twitter at twitter.com/NeanderthalGTV, like gangster. What else? Oh, and our Twitch channel. This is where I think we agreed to be hosting the podcast, yeah?
Yeah. I can't do it anyway, so yeah. Absolutely.
You'll be able to find the podcast here, and whenever I got some streaming things in line for the future. I'm going to see if they work out, and then hopefully you'll be seeing us live a lot more.
Yeah, that's
here.
true. Yeah, and we'll always let you know. Definitely follow some of those Twitter feeds, because I know for sure Neanderthal and I will probably end up working out how to get some time frames picked out so we can kind of get some live streaming going one after another, so you guys can at least be hanging out with one of us at all times.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's pretty much it. Subscribe to all my stuff. Also, there's
Subscribe.
Yep. Subscribe to all our stuff.
I guess that content is complete. I did it. I plugged the show in the show. I did.
Oh,
I was there. I said
that was appropriate. It was appropriate.